We've reached a point where AI can render an alien metropolis with terrifying precision. Every neon sign, every rivet on a skyscraper looks completely real. But the moment you try to move through that space, the illusion fractures. It looks like a flat photograph sliding across a piece of cardboard. If you try to pan the camera 90 degrees to see what's down a side street, traditional AI models panic. They simply guess, hallucinating an entirely new, disconnected image. You aren't exploring a world, you're just pulling the lever on a slot machine again. Real storytelling requires geography. If you want to direct a cohesive scene or build a recognizable brand, you need a physical location where the coffee cup on the desk and the door frame behind the actor stay exactly where you left them. This is the specific problem solved by OpenArt's Worlds feature. Instead of generating isolated images, you're building a permanent environment. You step inside a virtual soundstage. This requires a completely different approach. You have to stop thinking like someone typing prompts and start thinking like a director. You are governing a set, deciding on lens choices, and controlling the exact blocking of scenes. True creative authority over AI comes from abandoning the randomness. When you command a navigable 3D space, you dictate the rules of the environment instead of hoping the algorithm gets it right. OpenArt doesn't construct a traditional game engine environment with textured polygons. Instead, it uses intelligent image generation to simulate depth, lighting, and perspective, tricking the eye into perceiving a solid, three-dimensional space. You start by giving the system a reference point. This could be a single two-dimensional photograph, an AI-generated landscape, or even a street view screenshot grabbed straight from Google Earth. The AI analyzes the image, extrapolating details to construct a 360-degree panorama. Once that geometry is locked in, you are dropped squarely into the center. You can spin the camera, look up, or check behind you. Anyone with a laptop now has access to infinite production design. A single reference photo becomes a massive, fully explorable backlot at your exact specifications. Navigating the space is only the first step. To make the environment feel real, you use the 3D World Cam, a tool designed to mimic the physics of actual camera optics. By selecting a 23mm wide-angle focal length, this shot of an elven village pulls in the sweeping architecture, establishing the massive scale of the environment. Swap to a 300mm lens, and the background softens dramatically. The space compresses, creating a tight, intimate shot that belongs in a feature film. The text prompts inside this space require precision. To convince the eye this world has physical volume, you have to direct the lighting. Words like volumetric lighting and realistic shadows force the AI to accurately calculate how light wraps around objects. There's also a strict rule for output. Always turn on the Auto Enhance toggle. This runs a final pass over the raw capture, instantly sharpening textures and deepening the contrast to a professional grade. Generating a pretty picture gets you a nice wallpaper. Manipulating focal lengths and shadow fall-off is what actually produces a believable movie frame. An empty set needs an actor. The Cast-in Scene feature allows you to drop a specific saved character directly into the environment. They don't look like a sticker slapped onto a background. The system integrates them perfectly into the existing perspective and lighting. To move through this occupied space, you rely on a technique called start and end framing. You capture a starting shot, then move the camera and capture an end shot. The AI interpolates the frames between them. Because both reference the exact same underlying architecture, the walls don't shift. The geometry stays completely locked. Mastering this method is the dividing line for creators. It is the exact mechanic that lets you stop generating standalone photos and start directing in actual sequence. Once you build a location in OpenArt Worlds, it is yours permanently. It sits in your library, waiting. You never have to roll the dice and try to recreate a location from scratch again. You can revisit a futuristic street corner months later and simply adjust the weather. You prompt for a dark, rain-soaked night, and the system updates the mood while keeping every window, curb, and glowing sign exactly where it belongs. This allows you to work like a real production studio. You can batch dozens of shots from the same location, build genuine narrative lore over time, and develop a visual brand that audiences instantly recognize and trust. To learn the precise workflows, the exact camera settings, and the prompting techniques required to do this yourself, check the link in the description to join Coach BK Han's masterclass. Generating a random image is easy. Constructing a space with strict physical rules, reliable lighting, and true spatial consistency is what separates a casual user from a genuine world builder.